What's going on, Sooner Nation? Today we got to talk about the defensive line and what's next for Oklahoma, whether it's on the recruiting trail or the transfer portal, because we haven't got a chance to talk about Dominic Williams or really just what Oklahoma is trying to do on the recruiting scene in 2025 in a while. And I feel like we need to talk about it today. So make sure you join the discussion, jump down in the comments below, give me your thoughts, and let's go ahead and let's dive into it. So the biggest prospect this offseason that Oklahoma really has been talking about in the defensive line is Dominic Williams. And although Oklahoma got Jermaine Lole, you would really like to attach one more elite nose guard into this mix to really just make that defensive line take that step to the next level. And a guy like Dominic Williams transferring from TCU, that's the guy that everybody's looking at. So the question is, what do we know, right? Well, we know he went to Oklahoma. It was a multi-day visit. And from all indications, everything went really well, but Oklahoma didn't get the commitment. So he buzzied on his way up to Missouri, which Oklahoma fans just really, well, actually, he went down to Texas first. Didn't really get a commitment there. Buzzied his way up to Missouri. Y'all saw all the diner picks. Didn't commit to Mizzou. Then went to LSU. And now we're kind of to the point of, all right, a commitment's probably on the horizon within the next week. And so we look at Dominic Williams and say, where's he potentially going to go? Does Oklahoma still have a chance? And at the end of the day, yes, Oklahoma has a chance in this recruitment. NIL, they were competitive. From all indications of how the visit went, they were competitive. The fact that he has left all these places without committing, I think that's good news. But if you're Oklahoma, you're still fighting schools that, quite frankly, have the ability to go in and bag somebody just as much as you do. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, I don't think you set your hopes too high for Dominic Williams, but understanding OU's probably sitting in a really good spot, right? It's somewhere in the middle there. And we'll let you guys decide where that's at. So jump down the comments below and let me know where you guys think Dominic Williams is going to land, whether that's Oklahoma or somebody or somewhere else. But then it's like, well, what's Oklahoma going to do at this position if they don't land Dominic Williams? Because you've heard names of like Harmon from Michigan State or Simone Barrow Jr., who's a junior, and he had 36 total tackles last year, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Like, could that be an option? And yeah, like Simone Barrow is an option, but you're starting to hear of Harmon's probably going to end up at LSU. Barrow's going to be visiting LSU and Miami. So it's like, if you're Oklahoma, those are two guys, again, that you can't sit there and definitively say, I would say with those two guys, you have a worse shot at landing than Dominic Williams. That's what I think in the whole situation. But if you're Oklahoma, you can't hedge your bets on those guys either. So really, you could be looking at Oklahoma just getting one portal defensive lineman this cycle, which was Lole, which, I mean, just adding Lole, you've got a pretty good defensive line going into the SEC. Dominic Williams would have just been able to help provide more upside potential production and obviously depth. But the question is, what's Oklahoma doing in 2025 on the recruiting trail? Because obviously we have the long-standing commit from Kamori Moore, the defensive lineman from Lee Summit, Missouri, really talented kid, going to continue to rise up in the rankings as this cycle goes along. And then you've also got your recent commitment of Trent Wilson. And that's only 2. So you're like, well, surely they're going to take 3. Yes, they'll take 3. But what about 4? Well, I think it just depends on the right defensive lineman to come by. And here's what I mean by this. So I think everybody expects Cole Breeler at this point to be an Oklahoma Sooner because he's got 3 official visits set up for Stanford, Ohio State, and Oklahoma. And one of those places he's never been before. So you can kind of chalk it up and say Oklahoma's probably got the best shot. And it's amazing how Oklahoma's really getting some grassroots in that area. Additionally, you've got guys like Christian Evans. He's a 3-star defensive lineman that we're working on trying to get him here on the podcast because he's been to Oklahoma a couple times now. But he's 6'3", 275. He's out of Virginia. And he's got a total of 17 offers. And for Christian Evans right now, you're really looking primarily at a couple schools. Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Pitt just offered him. So I'm kind of looking to see how that Pitt offer plays. But Oklahoma, if they push hard enough, I think they're right there in the middle of it for Christian Evans. And like I said, this is a guy we're going to try to get here on the podcast. So you read between the lines and tell me what you think. Interesting defensive line prospect that really, I'm going to be honest, guys, we've neglected to really talk about this one in detail, but it's Floyd Boucard, 3-star defensive lineman out of Miami, Florida. Here's where he comes in, 6'3", 315 pounds. So the dude's already got size. Homie already got the size. You bring him in. This is a guy that I think within 1 year's probably playing consistent snaps. He's got a total of 43 offers. Just what you think about that. He's got a total of 43 total offers from like Alabama, obviously Miami, because that's where he transferred. He transferred into that state. He's got him from Ole Miss. He's got him from Oregon. He's got him from USC. He's got him from Auburn, right? Oklahoma's in there. Floyd Boucard's going to be an interesting one because it really feels like Floyd Boucard might be one of those battles where it's going to be an NIL battle because when you look at his size, 6'3", 315, that's like an elite size. That's what a lot of these college teams are looking for. And so I just feel like, especially with him now being in Miami, transferring there to Miami Central, where the University of Miami normally cleans up. And obviously y'all heard the interview Floyd Boucard did where he was like, oh yeah, I'm out eating at whoever the defensive line coach is for Miami. He's over at his house all the time eating. Now, you can tell me whether that's tampering or not, but Floyd Boucard might be a little bit harder of a prospect to reel in, but he's still on the table. And a lot of people will tell you, Floyd Boucard, Oklahoma, that's a dark horse race right there. So I think Oklahoma probably takes 4 defensive linemen. I think it's safe to say that. Even if they take another guy in the transfer portal, because a lot of these transfer portal guys, they're going to be 1-year rentals. Unless you get somebody that shall not be named on this podcast from a different school who would have to sit out a year anyways. So that's where I think it's it for Oklahoma. Really, the biggest domino is Dominic Williams. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, I want to know what you guys think about Dominic Williams. But in 2025 class, I want to know what you guys think there as well. So if you have not already and you guys have made it this far, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and join the discussion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.